I'm going with you right now. I've got 30 minutes, not long, but we're going to fire through, quick fire, like bullets, all the way through this 30 minutes. 30 minutes of sharing with you basically what I do in workshops around Europe, Middle East, around the globe, a 2-day workshop squeezed into 30 minutes. So I'm going to be sharing with you tips, insights, ideas, things that you practically can use. Where are you going? You coming on stage or are you sitting there? Right. Things you come and sit down if you want. Things you can use, things you can think about to make sure you get your messages out clearer. Now, if you are a startup, this will be value to you. If you are somebody in business, this will be of value to you. If you're none of those two and just a student, this will be of value to you, because whatever way we look at it, whatever job we do, wherever we do, however our career moves forward, we will at some stage have to stand and speak to people, speak to small groups, speak to larger groups, or you get to maybe a stage just like this, where you're speaking in front of lots of people, sharing your message, sharing your ideas to influence them, to persuade them, or just get them to agree with you in that way. Right, let's kick off. First of all, so one more time, this is called Stand and Deliver. It's 30 minutes, it's very quick. So you might want to take pictures, you might want to, with your mobile phone, just grab the things that are on the screen. Although there's not a lot of things on the screen, you'll see my slideshow is very, very simple and very, very simple indeed. Why? Because I don't want you to keep looking at that screen. I want you to keep looking at me. I want to be the focus here so that I can share my messages with you without getting any distractions at all. So we go on to the next one. Right, this is really important. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. When I come onto this stage or any other speaker, any other conference, unless you are the president of Kosovo or the president of the United States or somebody who already has that high credibility, most people, when they come onto a stage, the audience members, you as an audience, you don't care. You don't care because you've got other things on your mind. You've got other things right now. Probably there's a whole list of priorities in your head as you sit there looking at me. Clearly you're interested in what I'm about to say. But really, if I was to jump into your minds, most of you, on the top of your priority list, maybe you're thinking about your family, thinking about what you're going to make for dinner tonight, what you're going to do tonight, what you're going to go out, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, many different things on your mind. I'm not on that priority list. So as a speaker, as somebody standing here, I somehow have to get your attention. I have to get you to stick with me through this time. I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and do that over this next 25, 30 minutes together, okay? Trust. This is such an important thing. As soon as I come onto the stage, I've been already doing things to help you as an audience start to trust me. I'm not talking about full-blown trust, giving me all your money, giving me everything you have, your love, your passion, whatever. I don't want that yet. But you as an audience, I have to gain certainly a little bit of trust, a little bit of credibility to help you in your mind stick with me, to stay with me, right? I'm already doing things physically that are helping you do that. Other things I'm doing as well with my voice, what I'm looking at, how I'm moving. But there's a couple of things I'm showing you right now, and I've been doing so ever since I stepped on stage yesterday to help you feel, yeah, actually this guy could be credible. This guy could actually be a resource. I want to listen to what he has to say. I'm showing you two things. Does anybody know what those two things I'm showing you are? Really important. I'll tell you what they are. The first thing is I'm showing you this. I'm showing you my whole body, especially this area here. It's great on this stage because there are no podiums. There's no lectern to hide behind, okay? You see my whole body from top to toe. You see this area here. So as soon as I show you this, although you don't realize it, already in your brain is telling you, yes, he's open, he's got nothing to hide. He's ready to share what he has to share. I'm also showing you another thing, or another two things, in fact, that are helping you to again, feel like you want to listen. Hopefully, I'm guessing that. Hopefully you are. A few people may walk off through this. Hopefully they won't. I'm showing you a few things. I'm showing you my hands. I'm showing you that I have nothing in my hands at all. You may think, well, what on earth has that got to do with it? It's got a lot to do with it. Because you see that I've got nothing here at all. And I'm again, very open as well. If I was to do the same thing and just speak like this all the way through this next 30 minutes, somehow in your brains, again, you may not realize it, but you'll be thinking, he's hiding something. There's something not quite right. Often we see this happen a lot. Yeah? Again, if I was to talk to you like this, how does that make you start to think? Think to yourself, how does that make you feel? Maybe not serious enough. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm too relaxed. I'm kind of like, if I was to go into an interview where I really want to impress, I really want to show you the value I've got, would I walk into an interview like this? Well, some of you might walk into an interview like this. Some of you might have already done that in the past. But walking into an interview like this or trying to impress somebody, it's not going to work if you put your hands in your pockets. I see so many standing on stages across the world as an MC, as a coach. I see a lot of speakers who are really good. Speakers who get paid a lot of money to stand on stages, people who work for fantastic companies, and people, who've got audiences ready to listen to their ideas. They still sometimes put their hands in their pockets. I'll tell you something else. A speaker, regardless of how many times they've spoken, regardless of how much money they earn, regardless of who they work for, and regardless of their credibility, a speaker who does not think to themselves how they are actually going to get better and how they're going to engage on that process is a speaker that is not going to go too far, let me tell you. So that's good news for every single person, but certainly in front of audiences like this, when I speak to audiences full of lots of young people as well, I tell them, listen, it doesn't matter who the speaker is, as long as you're thinking to yourself, how are you going to get better? How are you going to improve? How are you going to make this work? All right, to think about, to be aware, self-aware of how you stand, how you move, what you say, and the effect it has on your audience. Right, two things now, two very, very important things indeed. So working with accelerators, startups, TEDx speakers, for example, who are preparing their speech. The first meeting, first time we speak together, we talk about a lot of things to share, lots of things to pass on. But where on earth do you start? Again, remember this is also for startups as well. Anybody thinking about putting together the stage where they're putting together their speech. First thing you have to do, number one, very, very important indeed, think about your purpose. Now, when I say that, I mean, what is it you want your audience to feel? Okay, what do you want your audience in their minds to think about? What's the tone? Is it energetic? Is it fun? Is it serious? Is it something that's life-changing? Is it something that they're going to smile about at the end? Is it something that's really going to hit hard? Okay, that's the first thing. You have to think about that, the purpose. All right? The second thing you need to do is then think about the outcome. Two very, very different things. The outcome is what you want your audience to do. All right? So it's a physical thing. It's an action. It's a task. It's something to do. All right? So you always need to think about what your audience is going to do, not necessarily straight away after your presentation, but at some stage afterwards. So if I was to say to myself, okay, what is the purpose of this? What's the purpose of this half an hour with you? My purpose would be to make you see or make you feel like, yeah, actually, I'm feeling a bit nervous, but I can feel that my confidence is better, is at a better position than when I started speaking. Or you can see things actually I can actually try that. I'll think about that and I'll try that to make you feel good after this half an hour with you, thinking to yourself, yes, I'm going to try that. I'm going to go for that. Even though I'm not haven't got much experience, even though maybe my nerves are just out of control, I can still focus on that, and actually that will take me one step up. All right? Looking at the outcome, what would the outcome be of this? The next time you do speak, the next time you do walk in to, you're in an interview, and the next time you have to, impress somebody, or you have to share your message with somebody, a startup pitch, that you do at least one of the things that I'm sharing with you today. All right, that you actually do it. Think about it, figure it out, bang, and then do it. Okay, that could be a purpose and outcome of this. You need to do the same. Once you've got those two things nailed, once you know what those two things are, write them down. You've got them nailed, then everything else becomes a lot easier, because all of your words, everything you do, goes towards those two things. All right, get those two things down. Do it with your team. You don't have to do it alone. Do it with somebody else, with the team that you're working with. All right. And then you figure those two things out, and that will move you forward a lot quicker, and it'll become easier to get to that final stage where you're feeling, yeah, actually, I've got what I need. Okay. Self-awareness, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, self-awareness is so, so important. The only real way you're going to actually move forward in terms of a speaker, a communicator, and this applies actually to many, many other things as well, is being self-aware. Knowing what you look like when you stand on a stage like this. The only way I know I can really understand how I look, how I move, how I sound. I can't jump into your minds right now. Wish I could, I can't. But the only way, real way, closest way of me doing that is how? Is actually looking at the video afterwards. So looking at the video now. This is recording me right now. I'm going to be looking back at you a little bit later on when this is all on YouTube, hopefully. I'll be looking at this. I'll be looking at myself. I'll be looking how I moved, what I said. There'll be things I see, and I'll be saying to myself, I wish I didn't say that. There'll be other things in there, and I know I'm going to say to myself, actually, that sounded pretty cool. I'm going to use that again. So you need, every time you do a presentation, a pitch, and if it's possible to do it, you need to record yourself. Get somebody else to do it. Just give them your smartphone. They can record the first 5 minutes. And that will give you that flavor of how you share what you have to share, and you can visually and the audio side, you can hear how you sound as well. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, I will never do that. I will never look at myself on video. Listen, you need to do it. You need to do it, because when you do that, the first thing you'll say is, believe me, you will say to yourself, actually, I'm a lot better than that. I'm actually quite impressed. I'm actually a lot better than I thought. That's the first thing you'll see. Second thing, as I say, those small things that you didn't even know. Because when we're speaking, we actually coming off, somebody, like you're speaking on stage, or you've just done a presentation, you come off. In the afternoon, the next day, somebody will say to you, how did you get on? You'll say the things that immediately pop into your mind. You won't know exactly how you shared your message. You'll only remember maybe the really bad bits or maybe the really good bits. But all those bits in between, you can't remember, and you can't even see yourself. So recording yourself, a really important thing to do indeed. Right, start with a bang. Right, listen, as an audience, we get messages all the time. We are presented with messages all the time. Pitch, like investors, pitch battles, startups. People are hearing startup pitches all the time, all right? As I said, you as an audience member, you owe me nothing. Nothing at all to sit here and listen to me. So it's up to me to get you to start to listen to me. As I say, already the trust side, showing you with my body, showing you with this area here, my hands. But I've got to start with the bang. I've got to say something. I've got to make sure that first 60 seconds are 60 seconds to make your ears prick up. All right? Something I say to every single person that I talk to, all the clients I work with. I say to them, listen, when you walk on stage, you have to imagine all your audience, they're on their phone, right? They're on their phone, on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever it is, okay? They're on their phone. So when you stand on stage in your first 60 seconds, somehow you've got to say something to get them to get off their phone and go, what's going on here? You got to get them to feel like there's curiosity there. Now you can do it in many different ways. You can ask questions. You can say a statement. You can say something that's going to get them to feel like there's something curious coming here. There's something's up. I want to know more. All right? But that first 30 seconds, 60 seconds, really, really important indeed. So if there's any part of your presentation that's the most important, I will always say your first 60 seconds. You get that first. If you don't, you've lost them. You have lost your audience. Think about it. YouTube, when you watch something on YouTube, you watch it for, 10 seconds? Not even that. In that 10 seconds, you've already decided whether you're going to stick around. Yeah? Same with websites. First 5 seconds even, nothing interesting, nothing sparks curiosity, there's nothing there at all. Might even be your website. And then you click, and away you go, you're gone. And you can't click. You're being polite. If you want to click now, you can't. A lot of you are being polite because you're sticking around. Hopefully you are sticking around because you want to and not because you want to click. Right, let's move on. Spark interest. Now, there are a lot of ways, a lot of things we can say to get our audience, to spark interest in our audience, right? Advertisers for decades have been using little tricks, little ideas, but I've come up with, there are quite a few. I've come up with like 3 or 4 that I'm sure if you think about these things here and somehow, don't have to put all of them into your presentation. You don't actually even have to put any of them, but just be aware these things, and I'm sure there's other things that you can think of when you talk about them, their ears will prick up, all right? Now, I know what you're thinking already. One of those, I know what you're thinking. Gentlemen, I know exactly what you're thinking. Sex. Now, when we talk about sex, naturally, sex sells. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a few other things. Let's see. Right, money. Clearly, when we talk about money, I'm not talking about how much money you have, how much somebody else has, but somehow giving that indication of finance, of investment, or something to do with money connected with business, that often gets people's attention. Let me just give you an example. I'll give you my, let's say, a very brief elevator pitch about what I do. So I would say something like, okay, my name is Peter Hopwood. I'm a public speaker, coach, and trainer. So I help people to build their confidence when it matters. I help people to get their messages out clearer and more concisely. And I also help startups and businesses gain investment. Now, out of those 3 main chunks, those 3 things, which one of those, for you, stuck in your mind the most? Often, I'm not saying it is this one, but often it's the third one, gain investment. So just by saying that word, gain investment, it somehow gives the impression, we go on to that kind of money area, yeah, financial reward or financial support or moving companies forward with their finances, saving them money as well. So things like that can get people to get interested in what you're talking about. Next one. So future promise. So future promise, really important indeed. Really, really important to let your audience know what they're going to get to help them stick around. What did I say at the beginning? What did I say to you at the beginning? What did I say to you you're going to get? I said something like, I can't remember exactly, but my words were something like, over the next 30 minutes or so, you're going to get this, this, and this. It's going to help you do this, this, and this. Bang. All right? So already, as an audience member, you're thinking, you should have been thinking, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place, and yes, I want these things, all right? So knowing what your audience wants is so, so important. Knowing your audience, you can't know exactly what they want, but getting a general feel will help you. I know you are here because you want to be at this event, right? That's number one. That's really clear. I know that you're here because of the certain things within that event, and hopefully you're here because you'd like to feel like, actually, yeah, I want to be a better communicator, and I want to learn a few things to help me polish myself as a speaker or communicator, leader, or startup, okay? Another one, recognition. So giving recognition to your audience somehow, again, is always a nice thing to do. Again, making them feel like they're in the right place. I could say to you, I was at a HR conference about 2 weeks ago, hosting there, and one of the within that first 60 seconds, I said, I can't remember exactly what I said. I said something like, okay, it's great to be here in a room full of people who really do appreciate and value the importance of what HR is all about and the way forward as well. So it's great to be with so many experts and so many people who know what they're talking about. So already, HR experts, even if they weren't an HR expert, they felt, well, yeah, I'm now an expert. So they felt like they're in the right place. So making your audience feel like they're in the right place is always a good move. All right, next one. Safety, security, the insurance companies, the whole idea of what they do is based on this, making people feel safe, making people feel secure. Maybe, and this happens a lot, we see it throughout the American election campaign, scaring people, making people feel scared, feel like they're not in that safety area, they haven't got that security, and then giving them something that will do it. The wall, okay? So many immigrants, so many terrible things are going to happen. It's already happening. There's too many people from Mexico coming in, stealing jobs. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build a wall, and that's the solution. So and then people feel, actually, yeah. So again, it's about safety, security, really, really important. If you can make your audience feel safe, feel secure, in the right context, naturally, and giving them a solution, that's always a good move as well. Right, we move on to 3 things. Now, the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, but the thing is, strange thing is, when in our brains, we cannot, it's easier for us to process things that are less than the number 4. Okay? Processing 3 things helps us to understand them quicker and understand things better, in a better way than if it was 4. So if you've got, let's say, okay, and also it helps you to persuade people better as well, right? So I'm going to ask you now, right? I'm going to try and persuade you to, what can I persuade you to do? Somebody shout out something. Persuade you that something is great, okay? Shout out something that you want me to persuade you that that's great. Anything. Huh? 10 press-ups. So trying to persuade you to do 10 not you, right, okay, could you? I'm sure you could. But, okay, trying to persuade somebody that doing 10 press-ups is the right thing to do. All right, so I could say, okay, like 10 press-ups, like if you do 10 press-ups, it's going to help you, over time, it's going to help you get fitter and stronger. It's probably going to make you look good as well. People are going to be, like, really impressed. It looks a bit strange, but I'm sure it actually, why did you think of that? It's a crazy thing to think of. Could you do that? I think we'd all love to see you do 10 press-ups, would you? If I can do it. Listen, that's not my job, my friend. I am not doing that. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I could say lots of things and blah, blah, blah and talk about it. But listen, if I cut it down, bang, to 3 things. 3 things. Let's see how it goes. So, doing 10 press-ups right here on this stage, or if you did 10 press-ups every single day, you'd get fitter, you'd look good after time, and your brain will be a stronger, fitter machine. I don't know whether that's true, but do you see what I mean? You just cut it down to 3 things. Okay, listen, we're going to do, okay, we won't do it again, right? A banana, right? Why should you eat a banana, right? You should eat a banana every single day, all right? Because it's healthy, tastes good, and they're really cheap. All right, so I don't know whether that's true here. I have no idea. But if you just squeeze your argument down to 3 things, that will help. That will really help. And it just seems crazy as it may be, more credible. All right. So when you're in your pitch, when you're persuading, or when you're giving an answer to something, if you can put it into 3 things, even if you just got 2. Think of one more and make that last one the main thing. Make that last one the thing that's the most important, because that's the part they'll remember the most. Put it into 3s, it'll certainly help. Okay, we move on. Getting turned on. Getting turned on. I don't mean getting turned on. I'm sure some of you are disappointed that I've said that. Although you can, if you want to, you can stand on stage and get turned on. I have nothing against that. However, when I say getting turned on, I'm talking about nerves. I'm talking about controlling those nerves, the anxiety. Every single person who stands on a stage, whoever they are, do not believe them when they say they are not nervous, all right? Because there is anxiety there, all right? It may be high, it may be low, or it may be controllable, but it's there. All right. So right now, I'm actually feeling really, really comfortable. Yesterday, again, very comfortable. The first when I first stood on stage, the first minute or 2 yesterday morning, that's where my nerves kicked in. All right. So how do you control those nerves? We all have them. We're all going to have them. There are lots of little things you can do. It's all about turning on that confidence. When anyone ever says to you, or you might think that confidence, you see confident people and you think, yeah, they're always confident. I wish I was like them, because they look confident, they feel confident. Most of the time, it's a switch. Okay, confidence is not a state. It's actually you turn it on and you become confident. Think of yourself. Think of a time where you really felt confident, all right? Maybe going out last night. You might have going to the party, getting ready, having a few drinks before. Certainly having a few drinks while you were there. Getting ready, looking good, feeling good. You know you're going to be amongst friends. You're feeling great, all right? You walk in and somehow that confidence, that you don't even have to turn it. It turns on itself. Other times, going for an interview, for example, or you really want to impress, or you're doing a pitch, you need to turn on that confidence. And it's all about learning how to turn on that switch. That is what I do. That is what I do every time I host a large conference like this, or even a larger one, wherever that may be, doing my keynotes, doing coaching. It is literally learning to turn on that confidence switch in the right way. And then when it's finished, after this, I'll turn my confidence switch, I'll turn that lower down, it goes down, okay? And I feel the same anxiety as everybody else in the room. So it's about turning that on and off at the right time. I was helping somebody last week, a friend of mine. She's actually got a TEDx talk next week in Amsterdam. And she speaks it's her first TEDx talk. She speaks on stages across the world, really good, great messages. But last week in our Skype call, she was really feeling that anxiety, really having these self-doubts about her message, about how she's, what she's sharing. And she just needed a little kick to make her realize, to help her turn on that switch, all right? TEDx Amsterdam, they called her. She didn't look for TEDx. She wants to do it, and she's really happy and really honored, but they called her. So that's number one. So I told her, listen, they called you, right? Ever since we've known each other, that's how we met at an event, at a conference in Asia. She's talking on stages around the world, so she must be good. She must have something good to share, all right? So that for her helped her. Hopefully it's helping her. She might be looking at this right now. Helping her just, again, turn on that switch when she has to turn it on, because that's what it's all about. Don't ever think you have to be this confident, great, wonderful presenter all the time. That's not the case at all. I'm not. At all. At all. When I go off, as I say, when I go off, I'm the same as you guys. Absolutely. Same insecurities, same anxiety. The only difference is I've, over time, learnt how to turn that switch on and off. Turn it up and down. Okay? Move on. Secret weapon. What is my secret weapon? I call it a secret weapon because without this, it would be more difficult for you to get my ideas and messages clearer and to remember them. What do you think that is? Any ideas? My secret weapon is my arms, my gestures, right? Without gestures, you actually don't sound as good. Listen to it. What's this? This is really true. It's great. It's crazy, but it's true. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KOSICT 2017. We're going to have a fantastic day today. Lots of ideas, lots of insights, and you're going to walk away feeling absolutely fantastic. All right? Sounding pretty good? Okay, fine. Same thing with gestures. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KOSICT 2017. Today, we are going to go through a fantastic day full of ideas, insights, tips, and you're going to walk away feeling positive, feeling inspired, and ready to take on the world that little bit more. Okay, I changed the words a little bit, quite a lot, because I felt better. The thing is, it's really crazy. Your gestures, when you put gestures to your messages, you sound better. It's crazy, but it's something that goes, a tingle through your body, and it goes to your brain, then it goes to your vocal cords, and you actually sound better. Try it. Really, really important. I also do voiceovers, so I do a lot of voiceovers in studios. When I do a voiceover, if you were to watch me doing the voiceover, so voiceover you can't see, you can just hear it, okay, when it's on the file, on a commercial, let's say. You can't see me, but if you were to see me recording that voiceover, you'd see me using my arms and gestures and moving, because I sound better. I sound better when I do that. So remember, your gestures will really help you. Let's see a few of what they are. Just next one. Okay, next one. Right, so it helps your audience keep track. If you use gestures, it helps clearly they have to be synced with your messages, all right? And you slowly learn to do that. Slowly learn to do that with your messages. You can see it as I'm doing that, yeah? So it helps you keep track of what I'm saying. It helps you understand it a little bit quicker, okay? Once, this was about 3 months ago at a conference in Paris, and at the back, so it was French and English, English and French. At the back, there was a booth with a translator, all right? I'd just come off speaking. I was at the back, just looking what's going on. I was just standing there like that, right in front of the booth, the translator behind me. All I could hear behind me was this banging on the window. I turned around. She just said, get out of the way. I got out of the way, and what did that do? That just gave clear view from the translator to the speaker, and the translator could see clearly that movement. She could understand every single word. A great translator, that's her job. But it helped her get the messages quicker because she could see the movement. She could see the gestures. She could actually see the expression on the face of the speaker as well. All right, so all these things help you as an audience member get the messages quicker, and you'll remember them better as well. You won't remember a lot of this right now. You will not tomorrow. You will not even tonight, even 10 minutes time. You may not even remember anything of what I've said, but there'll be a few things certainly that stick out, and they'll stick out because of the gestures that helped you remember, all right? Moving on, numbers. So anything under 5, you can use your hands. 1, 2 things. There were 3 things, okay? So 5 ideas, or you can do that. Next one. Volume. So if you're talking about something big, so it's like we had this really, really big idea, or there was actually, can I ask you a question, in fact? Can you help me? I have a problem. I have this big problem. Apart from doing press-ups on the stage there, I have this problem. I have this like really little problem that I need your help with. Can you help me? Of course, she says. Of course. What did I say? A really little problem. I didn't go like a really little problem. Did I? I went, a really little problem. Somehow that little problem became even smaller because I went, it's a little problem. So by using fingers and hands in terms of the volume, that will help, again, get your messages out a little bit more clearer. We move on. Emotion. Really, really important indeed to get that connection somehow with your audience. Now, if we're talking about gestures, you can say something like, whenever you talk about something that means a lot to you, like for example, I'm going to share with you right now something that really means a lot to me. Just by doing that really means a lot to me. So my hand is going towards my heart, this area here. All right, so it's just by, you don't even have to go like that. It really means a lot to me. You could, if you wanted to, while you get turned on. Just by doing that, it really means a lot to me. Just point, almost your hand is going towards your heart, all right? Again, it just gives that little bit of more connection that you need as a speaker on stage. Right, we move on to the next part, the voice. Now, contrary to what maybe you've heard or what you've read or what you believe even, there is one thing that will determine how your audience actually sees you, actually judges you. So as soon as you stand on stage, you are judged. You judged me. You judge every single speaker here by how they move, what they say, how they're dressed even, okay? But there's the one thing that will determine, that will really clinch it, make it or break it, is your voice. Think about it. Radio presenters in Kosovo. Great. Think of a really cool, really great radio presenter. All right, you're in your car in the morning, going to work, if you have a car, if you've got a job. Okay, you're at home, in your bed, doing nothing. Put the radio on. And you listen to a great radio presenter. You can feel that kind of, not necessarily passion, but you can feel it's like, he feels good. You can see the smile. You can't actually see anything, but you can hear it. And it's always the same, isn't it? When we see the radio presenter on the red carpet at an event or on television, you think, my God, do they look like that? So, but it's the voice. It's the voice that does it. So if there's anything to work on, I really, really recommend this, is listening to yourself and trying to figure out how other people feel when you speak, the things you say. So bringing your voice, these are really quick tips here. Bringing your voice down, lower. You bring your voice lower down. In business, that's the way it goes. A lower voice somehow is a more credible voice, is a voice that people will take note of more. I don't know any politicians on earth that have a very, very high voice. Do you? Maybe you do. Okay. Maybe in Kosovo. Is there somebody in Kosovo with a high voice? No. Okay. So bringing your voice down. And actually, again, another thing. So if I was to speak really, really fast like this, we know people who speak very fast. We might actually be someone who speaks fast. We know people who speak very, very fast. And they just seem to try to get all their messages out all the time. Don't let you speak. And you have to somehow just keep listening. And they just keep talking. What was the tone of that? What kind of tone? If we look at it at a tone, what tone was that? It's quite a high tone. Because as soon as you start to slow down, you just slow things down a little bit more. Put in the pauses. What happens to the tone of the voice? The voice just simply goes automatically down. So I'm not pushing it down. It's just going down. Because I'm speaking slower. I'm putting in those pauses. Put in the pauses, slow down. Automatically you will start to just give that little bit more credibility and get people, again, to stay with you as well. All right? Pause it out. I've just mentioned pause is so, so important. Really, really important. Being someone who can say nothing, stand on a stage, let's say, or stand in front of a group of people and say nothing or just think and feel comfortable with that silence is a really, really strong thing to do. Really, really makes a difference. But the great thing is, here's the trick. The great thing is, even if even if by putting in the pause, you're not quite sure what you're going to say next, use that pause, and all you need is like half a second to think what you're going to say next. Like right now, I'm not quite sure what's coming next. But the thing is, I'm thinking about that as I speak to you. And as I speak to you, I can carry on. So, but you can see, just by putting in the pause, it's okay, it's really okay, it's good to have that silence. Like Bill Clinton, perfect at that. He's like so good at that, because he just like, and his hands are like down by his sides, and he's cool, and he's really happy to say nothing. But you know what? He's probably thinking, well, no, maybe not at his age right now, but I mean, years ago, I'm sure there were times where he's actually thinking, he's in that mode where he's in that zone where he's quite comfortable saying nothing. But he's thinking about what the next step is, what he's going to say next. And that's all you need, half a second to do that. Okay, we move on. Call to action. I mentioned at the beginning, really important to have an outcome. So this is basically just emphasizing that point, a call to action. Making sure that you tell your audience to do something. They need to do something. They need to do something. You give them a message, you share with them your energy, you share with them what you want to share, the value that they get from it, but they need to do something, whatever that may be. As a startup, often it could be, what could it be? Not asking them for money straight off, because that will never happen. Probably, I've never ever seen it happen. Somebody just throw money at you. But what you could do is you say, for example, at the end of your pitch, okay, you've heard about our idea, you're curious, you'd like to know more. We would love straight after this to have a coffee with you and speak more about how we can move this idea forward. So it might just be a coffee. Asking for a coffee, bang. It might be going to your website and subscribing, bang. It might just be having a look at some of the things we've been doing on our website, bang. Okay, it might be, I want you to think clearly, like tonight when you get back home, I want you to think clearly about doing 10 press-ups every single day. It might be that, okay? Could be anything, but you need to tell them they need to do something. If presentation, great, fantastic, bad, awful, whatever it is, if it hasn't got a call to action, it's not worth even doing, okay? So think to yourself, every startup in this room, think to yourself, what is the call to action? What is it you want from your audience? And often, it will be a coffee. It will be a conversation. Okay, don't ask them, okay, so if you're interested, you're curious, here's the email, here's my email, and contact me on my email, right? Who cares? They will not contact you. They've got a million other things on their brains. Your email is not one of them, all right? So you need straight away coffee, chat, exchange, even if it's for 2 minutes, bang, bang, business cards, and that's kind of cemented that seed for perhaps an email, and then perhaps a conversation over coffee, then perhaps a meeting, then perhaps an appointment, and then perhaps a contract, and then perhaps take money, take it on the world, all from that coffee at the beginning. Right, next one. No, thank you. No, thank you. What am I talking? What? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, no. What does that mean? Right, your last slide. What's on your, think of the last presentation you put together. Got it in your mind? Good. What's on your last slide? Who's put thank you on their last slide? Hands up. Right, from now on, you will never, ever put thank you on your last slide. Which slide, out of all your slides on your slide deck, often is the one slide that most people see the most? It's the last slide, isn't it? It's the last slide up on there. It stays on there maybe during question and answers, maybe as you're packing up, as people are walking out the room. But that slide's up there. You've got a slide. Thank you. After this, I can stand here and say to you, listen, I've had a great time sharing my messages, this 30 minutes together with you. Thank you so much. So I say that, and I mean that. I don't need to write it on there. What can I put on my last slide? What could be on my last slide? A business card, yeah, you could do that. That's a little bit lame because the best thing is if I go out on a business card and met you afterwards, here's my business card, you give me yours, we've had a little chat, bang, and that's more effective than just a business card on there. What could be on there? Main message of your presentation, yes. It could be just a sentence, a question, something to get them thinking about regarding what you said. All right, so it's really important to use that last slide in the best way you can, all right? Because last slide, thank you at the end, you're never going to do that again. Okay, we move on to the next one, moving very quickly. So remember, the last part of your presentation is the sweet dessert. This is the part people, again, they remember the beginning. The last part, they'll remember the most as well. So leave them with something special, something sweet, something tasty, something that they hopefully will remember. My sweet dessert right now to you is literally your mindset. Your mindset, how you feel as you walk on, will determine the words you say and how it comes out and how it shapes your delivery and how it shapes the way people will see you. So if you walk on feeling nervous, you walk on feeling like you can't do it, feeling like you're going to, people looking at your bottom, people are judging you, that's going to come across when you share your message. But if you go on thinking to yourself, okay, this is what I want to share with my audience. This is the value I want to share with them. That's what I want them to grasp. Those are the ideas I want them to feel. Okay, just by doing that, switching your mindset, you'll look better, you'll feel better, and you'll sound better as well. So never underestimate your mindset. It's just, again, turning it on, turning it off. If you start to do that, you'll start to feel stronger, and your audience will see you as a stronger speaker as well. We come now to the very last slide. I haven't got a last message. That was my sweet dessert. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully there's something that I've said that you'll take on board. Okay? Hopefully there's something that I've said as well that maybe you can use. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, everything else as well. You never know when we might need each other. And with that, I say thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.